here. I pour my DME into the water. Get all that off of there. Okay, so I just added the half a cup of DME, and I got 2 cups of water in here. Stir it up. This is basically like a mini beer. DME and that package there. Alright, so we got this DME back to a boil, and we're going to do about 15 minutes on the timer. Let it boil. And I got my flask, my scissors, the stopper for the flask, and my yeast going in, and then going to star sign. Sanitize. Alright, it's done boiling. I'm going to transfer it in my flask. Got my stir bar in there already. Just stir it up on the stir plate that I made. Everything's sanitized. It's pretty much still boiling, but everything's sanitized also, so just to ensure that nothing will infect it. And then we'll stick this in the ice bath here. Let it chill before we pitch the yeast. Alright, so the starter wort is sitting in the ice bath chilling, and then we'll be ready to pitch the yeast once it's down to 70 or 80 degrees roughly. And we'll get it on this this homemade stir plate that I fashioned together. Alright, I got my yeast, the British ale, and I'll sanitize it. I'm about to sanitize scissors. And go ahead and pitch it in. And if you didn't know, we're going to be brewing a Tombstone IPA tomorrow. So that's what, or Tombstone Pale Ale. And then set it on the stir plate. What's that? What it'll do is it'll trickle oxygen into the wort, because the yeast needs oxygen to multiply. So we want it to multiply and build a healthy cell count, so that we'll have enough yeast cells to ferment the beer quickly and cleanly and not get stressed out. So that's it. That's your stir plate, homemade stir plate. And I got like $10 into it, including buying the super glue for the magnets that go under there. And I just got this potentiometer from Radio Shack and the switch, and then I just cut the wall outlet off something else I already had. And I got this computer fan and the magnets from my father-in-law. You know, he has some extra computer parts lying around. So yeah. Alright, it's brew day. We got our mash started. 157. I wanted it to be about 156. So I think it's about there now. But you know, we got our Tombstone Pale Ale that we're brewing today. And here's our hops. And alright, I got the grains poured into the mash. Checking for any clumps. So I'm about to cover this up so we can finish our mash. Alright, so this is mashing about 155, 156. Wrapped up in towels. Got my other pot here I'm going to start heating up the sparge water with. So that we'll let that mash. I got my cooler here. I'm going to put the sparge water in once I heat it up. Sparge it in the stainless steel pot where it's mashing, and we'll use this as a boil kettle too. Alright, so here's the yeast starter. It's still on the stir plate. I turned it off after about 24 hours. But I'm letting it settle. I'm going to decant off this spent wort, or now I guess it'd be considered beer, so that we don't pitch all of this in with the yeast. Normally you could put it in the fridge to chill so it can cold crash, but I just turned it off after 24 hours on the stir plate and let it settle, and it's clearing up pretty good, I'd say. So I should be able to decant it off. See that jump up? The yeast still jumping up, falling back down. There's a ring, a krausen ring. You can see that happened while it was stirring. It goes pretty quickly with all that yeast and this little bit of wort. I've just been kind of lautering this way manually. I've got this sparge arm tip on there. Sprinkling it over the grain bed and mash. Alright, so we got the mash done. I've already done a lot of the lautering, so it's coming out pretty clear. I've been lautering with this bucket. And it's pretty good. There's one or two pieces in there, but I think I'm good with that. I think we can start putting it in the boil kettle. Running the first runnings into the boil kettle. That looks clean, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. Nice and clear. It looks pretty clear. I don't know, darken up. The lautering worked, and sparge. Once this runs out, that was good. 167 should be a good temperature.
All right, so now we're gonna start the sparge. We're gonna rinse the grain with our hot water and our hot liquor tank, and then collect our boil volume, and then we'll get to the boil after this. So let's start. So now I'm adjusting the flow so that the water from the hot liquor tank flowing into the mash tun is about the same as the wort that's coming from the mash tun into our boil pot.
And this is the first time that we've done like a 3-tier setup.
True all grain.
True all grain with a sparge and everything.
Since we started brewing, we've slowly pieced together our equipment so that we can brew. Starting from 1 gallon extract kits to 5 gallon extract kits to brew in a bag. Now we're making our way to true all grain. So.
But we got some hops on the way.
That's right, so we'll grow our own.
Alright, well, I think we just got our boil volume. Looks like this kettle's pretty full. I guess we can start the boil. Stick it on here. kettle's heating up. We got a sample here, and it's about 130 degrees. So we're gonna get an OG, original gravity, and calculate for the heat change. It's about 1050.
So we're looking at it with adjusted 1050 at 130 degrees, 1064 specific gravity.
Really?
Per Beersmith. What are you drinking?
We got a nut brown here. It's one of the beers that we brewed on the double brew day with the extract kits. It's all right. I feel like I'm becoming like a bit of a hophead.
Agreed.
So, you know, it's more on the malty side, but it's not bad. I think it turned out pretty good. Yeah, we're waiting on this to boil. It's over 200 now, so. All right, we got our boil going. It's time to add some Columbus hops. We got half an ounce in here. We already measured out the other half over there. So we're gonna add this at first boil. Whoa, getting a little rowdy there. We got our beer boiling, well, the wort boiling, and we're sitting here drinking a Jake's CDA that we brewed a couple weeks ago.
That was our first video.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
What you think?
It pours like a stout. Looks like a stout. Smells like a stout. But it's got like a hoppy finish to it. Pretty good.
Yeah. You remember the description where it said, like, is it a black IPA?
Is it a stout?
Is it a CDA? Or, yeah. Flavor to it like a stout, but you can taste the hops.
True. This is the one we poured the grains.
Yeah, this was the brew in a bag that we did as like basically an all grain.
That's right. Kind of combined a brew in a bag and all grain. Did a single pot process, but we're able to rinse the grains and kind of combine some techniques with all grain and single pot brew in a bag techniques. Seemed to work out well. So I would say that our homebrew experiment worked. So you watch that first video we made, and you just don't have all the equipment to do a full all grain mash like we did today. That method seemed to work. So I would say our experiment was a success.
Yeah. The boil. We got about 40, 50 minutes left. Smells good.
30 minutes into the boil, the Tombstone recipe calls for half an ounce of the Columbus hops. And then that's it as far as the Columbus, but the recipe came with a full ounce, so we have a half an ounce left, and we're going to add that now because we prefer hoppy beer, so we're just going to go ahead and throw it in here just for fun. So. This is how you make homebrewing your own. You don't have to follow the rules. Another 20 minutes and we will add the next addition.
And we got a little bit more wort over here that we might add. Once this is boiled down a little bit. 0.25 ounces of tandem hops. I guess that's how you say it. About to add, we're at 10 minutes till the end of the boil. So we already got our wort chiller in there, sanitized. We've already added some of the extra wort that we collected. That was gonna make it pretty hoppy. Alright, we're at the end of the boil and we're gonna add the rest of our hops. And we got a full kettle because we added the rest of our collected wort. So let's give that a little stir and then we'll flame out. Flame out. Alright, this wort is now chilling. Turn the water on. I'm gonna try to whirlpool it some so it can chill faster and hopefully get the hops in the center of the kettle. Alright, we made some sanitizer. I got the lid for the fermenter in here and my siphon so we can clean it, make sure it's all sanitized. I lost the harness.
Almost there. What do you think? Oh, you're blurry.
I think we're almost there.
Almost there.
I think we need another beer too.
Yep.
We're gonna try to decant some of this spent wort.
This is the yeast starter that Hardin started.
I guess. You think I should try it?
Go for it. This is a half a cup of DME, 2 cups of water, some yeast, and your yeast starter, your smack pack.
It almost tastes like wine.
Really?
Yeah, it's not really that. It is pretty unpleasant, like John Palmer states in his How to Brew book.
Oh.
Alright, so in one of our last videos, we had this 6.5 gallon glass bubbler by Northern Brewer, and the lid that they gave me didn't fit right in there. It kept popping up with the sanitizer when it was wet. So I emailed Northern Brewer about the issue we were having in a previous video with the lid not sealing. And they sent me this. I'm probably gonna end up cutting it to hold the lid of this down. But right now we're just gonna use it as it is and hope it works.
It's leaking.
We're down to pitching temperature, so we'll transfer this over into the ferment. We'll be ready to pitch the yeast.
We're getting another gravity reading now that we have chilled the wort down to about 70 degrees, and it is coming out to about 1062, which is about what we expected. Beersmith gave us about 1064, but since we added extra wort since we've gotten the last reading, it makes up for that difference, so 1062 is about right.
And I'm pitching it into the beer, into the wort.
And again, a couple weeks, and we'll be ready to bottle. Thanks for watching.